Hey everybody, and welcome back to our first week of picks here in the NFL on the Mike and the Feather channel. And but doesn't it seem crazy that it doesn't feel like it's, as of Thursday night, it'll have been 207 days since the last game of football was played outside of preseason. The Super Bowl was played.
It's wild.
Can you believe how fast it goes? Are you ready? Are you pumped?
I'm ready for it. I cannot wait.
Are you ever not pumped though?
Football 24/7, 365 would be fine with me. But you know what? It was nice to have a nice little break over the summer. And we're back at it because sports is kind of at an all-time lull up until this last Saturday where college football began. And we're full speed ahead.
Hey, how excited am I there may finally be a Manning who gets more crap than Eli did? That was kind of a rough outing for Arch Manning there.
Rough go for Arch Manning, but he's, what do you expect? First year starting, he'll be all right.
Well, let's go over how things work here on the Mike and the Feather podcast. Each week, we're going to look at every single game in the NFL with the current spreads. The Feather is going to give you his picks against those current spreads. And as I mentioned, that he'll be giving you certain picks that will be his take it to the bank picks. Trust me, you won't be able to miss them when they happen. If you're new here to the channel, you'll see what I mean. Just because we're picking each game on the video does not mean we're betting each game. In fact, without a doubt, every week or every couple of weeks, there's going to be a game that the Fed's probably going to claim is a dumpster fire, just stay away. He'll still give you his pick on the game, but as always, we say it's your money, it's your wagering, so take our advice with a grain of salt, and you're the one ultimately making the final choice on where your money should go. We do plan to have a few new things this season, including more content on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Rumble. So as always, we don't charge for the content. All we ask is that if you would, please make like Jalen Hurts and do a big tush push right onto the like button. And be sure you subscribe because we're going to be doing more and more updated content, all things considered. And as these lines move and things happen, you want to make sure you get notified as soon as that content comes out because things move quickly in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And honestly, we got 16 games to go through this week. Week one's already got some huge matchups. So let's get into it. And welcome back to Season 3 of Mike and the Feather, once formerly known as Fade or Fly. We're always in the pursuit of action here. So let's start with the picks for NFL season 25-26, Week 1.
Let's get it going.
Gotta say, two of my favorite teams. We have the Dallas Cow. I'm a Giants fan in case you're new to the channel, so pity me. We have the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are right now a 7.5-point spread at home.
Yep, as they should be.
Defending champions.
You got, the Eagles defending champions. They're looking good. They're primed to be a favorite again, to win the Super Bowl. Cowboys are going to say, hey, we got something to say about that. We'll see. Will it happen? Will it not? The Cowboys are off to a rough start. Micah Parsons gets traded to the Green Bay Packers, as everyone knows. So now their defense that was kind of middling took a step back even further. But they did gain Kenny Clark to the defensive tackle side because Jerry Jones said they needed to stop the run. So, who knows? But they did add some good depth, though, at receiver. George Pickens came over. He's kind of been a problem child since he's been in the NFL. But he's going to Dallas, which is kind of a problem team. But perhaps he finds his footing and is another weapon for Dak Prescott. Because CeeDee Lamb, his back hurts because he's carrying that team year in and year out. Javonte Williams, running back, came over from Denver. And, injuries kind of plagued his career so far. But if he makes a step up, I think that Dallas and the offensive side of the ball could be improved. But in this game, it's just not going to be enough because the Eagles are the Eagles. We don't need to go any further. Jalen Hurts, the crew, they're all there looking to make another run. They're at home. Big division battle. They want to put their best foot forward, bring their A game, 7.5 points. We're going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to cover 7.5. It's not going to be a problem. Fly, Eagles, fly. They're going to get it done. Boom.
All right, we're all going to be hanging out in São Paulo, Brazil at 5 p.m. on Friday as the Kansas City Chiefs, as you wrote it down here, take on the LA Charger. Just one Charger you put here, not Charger. Which Charger will they be going against?
Oh, my God.
No, I'm sorry. Kansas City Chiefs versus the LA Chargers. The Chiefs are currently 3-point favorites. Technically the road team, but when you're in Brazil, it's all road teams.
Correct. Yeah, this is second year now that there's a game in Brazil, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They do what they do. Rashid Rice has officially been suspended the first 6 games of the year, so that's going to hurt the team. Will Mr.
Swift?
Mr. Hollywood Brown gonna?
We'll get to Mr. Taylor Swift in a moment, I'm sure.
Hollywood Brown's got to step up at wide receiver too now. I mean, it's one of those things. Worthy. Now it's his second year. He's a fast, dynamic receiver. Pachenko, hopefully he's going to remain healthy. That guy's running pretty good so far. But the Chargers, you got yourself a little Jim Harbaugh action. The guy, all he does is win. Now he has himself a nice running back, Omarion Hampton, who's a baller, and he's a beast. So he's going to complement this run game that Jim Harbaugh loves to run the ball. Now on the other side, Justin Herbert, he's been kind of a game manager lately. He hasn't had the receivers to work with. Now,
right.
His familiar receiver and comfy blankets coming back in Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's going to give it another go here in the Chargers' second go around. We'll see what happens. Are guys like Quentin Johnson going to step up? The guy, he came in as a rookie a couple years back, and he just never was able to step up so far. We got Luke McConkey, obviously. He was a beast. He's a fantasy stud, and this team is going to look good. I think on paper they look good. I think their defense has improved. It's a big matchup, and everyone's wanting to know what's going to happen. I can tell you right now, upset alert, first of the week. We're going to go with the Chargers +3. I'll take the points in the division battle, essentially both teams on a road game. And I think that the Chargers are going to be prepared. Granted, Andy Reid, he gets his guys ready right out of the blocks, but this year's going to be a little different. Chargers fire out quick, get the win. Chargers, boom.
We didn't really say it in the beginning. Week 1 is always kind of nutso. Because even the first few weeks. But one thing I think we can definitely say for sure is this season, the Chiefs are not going to have an easy division to walk over like they have in years past. Between Bo Nix and the Chargers improving and the Broncos obviously doing better.
I said this earlier, but I believe truly that the Chiefs very well could finish third in their own division if things break a certain way. Denver's improved so much, the Chargers improved, and the Raiders are a wild card.
That's true.
Raiders are a wild card. They got a good running back. They got some decent receivers, nothing special there. They got a stud tight end, probably the best in the league, and they got a Hall of Fame coach leading them that seemed to figure out a way to pull the best out of Geno Smith in Seattle to get him almost a near MVP type season a couple years back. With that kind of situation in place, Max Crosby driving a defense, they definitely may not win a ton of games, but I think they're going to make some tough matchups within the division, including the Chiefs. So the Chiefs have a lot of work. This is the first year the Chiefs are going to be actually challenged since Patrick Mahomes got there and they're within their own division.
Cool. All right, well, let's move on to the first of the Sunday morning games starting at 10 a.m. We have the now Aaron Rodgers-led Pittsburgh Steelers on the road facing the once Aaron Rodgers-led New York Jets. The Jets at home are a 2.5-point dog, meaning the Steelers are a 2.5-point favorite on the road. Is what one of our first, I guess you would call them, very marquee matchups of either teams or quarterbacks going against their old teams or their rivals.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, I remember Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago before he, got hurt. He was talking about how his goal was to win 2 Super Bowls with the Jets and then maybe retire as a Jet and blah, blah, blah. Well, that experiment failed terribly. Now, this is probably his last go-around. He hasn't announced this is official last year, but most likely this is his swan song. He's a prideful guy. A lot of people love him or hate him. He's definitely a polarizing figure. But love him or hate him, Aaron Rodgers is here, and he's, DK Metcalf is joining him. This Pittsburgh team hasn't had a losing season under Mike Tomlin. Now they're going up against a Jets team led by Justin Fields, who basically is going to try to cut his teeth here with this franchise and possibly moving forward be QB1 of the future. This Jets team, though, this franchise is riddled with problems and drama. Not as much as Dallas, but pretty close. And, Garrett Wilson's a beast, okay? Breece Hall, he needs to step up big this year. The question is, there's a lot of question marks, and that's the problem with week one. Week one is a lot of hype. On paper, certain teams look good, certain teams look bad, but until they play the games, you just don't know. But in this case, Aaron Rodgers on the road is going to get it done against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers take them all day long. The Steelers get it done.
Miami Dolphins swimming into town into Indianapolis against Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a 1-point favorite at home, and now using once New York Giants legend in his own mind, Daniel Jones, as their QB1.
The Daniel Jones experiment begins. Probably one of the most overpaid quarterbacks in history, as far as, behind Matt Flynn, probably, who never really played a snap. But here we go. I mean, Daniel Jones, at least he gets Jonathan Taylor, which is the best running back he's had in his career. Yep. Guys like Michael Pittman and Josh Downs need to step up. They got to help this veteran quarterback who's had his problems. Indy at home traditionally has been decent, although the last couple of years has been really nothing about Indianapolis has been decent. But now on the other side of the ball, you have a situation where Miami, you got a lot of pressure on this head coach to get it done. He's kind of on the hot seat. You got a situation where Tua, can he stay in the field? I mean, he's so concussion heavy that at any minute, and how he goes, that team goes. When he goes out, it's all over.
Right.
Devon Achane, now he's got the backfield to himself pretty much. He's been a beast, but can he stay healthy? Tyreek Hill, a lot to say about him. The guy is polarizing. What kind of Tyreek Hill? Every fantasy owner out there wants to know what kind of Tyreek Hill we're going to get this year. We're going to get the guy who can't stay in the field, the guy that only caught a couple touchdowns last year, or we're going to get the Tyreek Hill that we saw was, great when he came to Miami initially, great when he was in Kansas City. And, of course, his supporting cast and wide receiver, too, Jalen Waddle, if he can, pull it out as well, he's a great player. If all this comes together, this Miami team on offense at least has potential. They need to work on their offensive line. And if Chubb can stay healthy on the defensive side of the ball, Miami has potential. Unfortunately, they're in a tough division this year, and they're basically playing for third place in the division as of right now, in my opinion. But I guess time will tell on that. It's a tough game, but we're going to go with the road dog. +1, Miami on the road. Indy, like I said, Indy's home games haven't been much of a home advantage as of late. They got their issues. I think Miami's going to come out week one as healthy as they're going to be all year long, and they're going to get it done in the Dome. Miami +1. Boom.
This question feels like it probably has an obvious answer, but will this be the season the Colts get 17 games out of their quarterback, or are they going to be struggling again because Anthony Richardson couldn't stay healthy? We know Daniel Jones' history in New York. Is it possible for the Colts to get a full season?
I mean, I think that there's going to be some quarterback changes for one reason or another throughout the year for Indy. I don't think that there's going to be a 17-game quarterback for Indy. I think that whether it's injury or mixing it up because play's not going great, I think their intention is to ride with Daniel Jones and, not till the wheels come off, but I think they're going to ride with them at least for the first 4 or 5 weeks and see where they're at.
Let's go on to our third game of Sunday morning. It is the Carolina Panthers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2.5-point favorites at home.
All right, this is a game. Once upon a time, both these teams came into the league at the same time, brand new as expansion teams, and they both have had their successes and failures throughout the years.
True.
Now we're looking at a Bryce Young who's trying to make a step forward. He had a rough spot to start off his career. He showed pretty good, hopeful situations last year towards the end. Can it continue? We'll see. He's a former Ohio State Buckeye. Pretty good pedigrees back.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Unfortunately, Ohio State Buckeye quarterbacks don't translate too well into the NFL in a lot of cases. So, I mean, Chuba Hubbard has the backfield all to himself this year. This team is not going to be good. Okay, I'm not going to mince words. The Carolina Panthers are not going to be a good team, but I think that they could win some games and make some, put some teams in some tough spots. That being said, the Jacksonville Jaguars have their own problems. I mean, they are a team where Trevor Lawrence is he got paid his big money. He was not great last year. But they do have a very good stud wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. This guy is a fantasy stud, and he's someone that they're really high on. The running backfield is pretty jammed up. They got 3 good options there, so that's good. Jacksonville is another team where not a lot of high hopes for them this year. This game is kind of a tough dumpster fire type of game until you kind of see where they're going to all be at. But as far as I can see right now, I'm going to go with the home team, Jacksonville Jaguars, -2.5 to get it done. They're at home. I feel like they're just the better team on paper, and I feel like fundamentally they're just going to be able to do a little bit more in this game to get it by. I wouldn't advise betting this game, but Jacksonville Jaguars -2.5.
My New York Giants are on the road taking on the Washington Commanders, who are looking to repeat the, some would definitely say, surprise success of Jaden Daniels last year. And because of that success, they are a 6-point favorite at home against my Giants with future Super Bowl MVP Jackson Dart, once we can get him into that lineup. And like I say every year, look, I know
Stay off of drugs, kid.
I know.
Stay off of drugs.
I know how my Giants are. I'm impervious to how ridiculous my team has been. But for the 35 years I've gotten to watch them, I've gotten 4 Super Bowls and 3 victories. And as I say every year, thank you, Scott Norwood, for one of those. But we beat the undefeated Patriots. We beat Tom Brady twice. I don't have any love lost for Tom Brady. I mean, I've been spoiled and very blessed, especially considering how many Super Bowls have the Packers won in the last 30 years.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Commanders 6-point favorites at home against the Giants. Feather, your take on the game.
Russell Wilson. The Russell Wilson era begins in New York. Probably by far the best quarterback they've had since Phil Simms.
I would debate the Phil Simms, Eli Manning. There's merit for both.
But what can I say? The Giants, they're not going to do much this year. But let's see. Malik Neighbors, he's a great receiver. Hopefully he doesn't die in the vine and playing for the Giants. But you never know. Jackson Dart, potential. I mean, that's the future. We'll see. Russell Wilson right now is going to be the guy. Washington is the team. They're the team of the hour. We're going to find out, is Jaden Daniels going to have a C.J. Stroud sophomore year, or is he going to actually excel and build from what he did last year? I mean, everyone wants to know, because C.J. Stroud, everyone was super high on him going into his second year, and he fell kind of flat. A lot of injuries, created situations where his offense was in a rough spot.
Yeah.
But overall, he regressed big time. Jaden Daniels, that should not be the case. He has his agent and his mom keeps him on a straight and narrow, and focused. So now you go and do, okay, Washington, where are they sitting? They've improved. They picked up Deebo Samuel from the San Francisco 49ers, and that's another guy. Can he stay in the field? Can he stay healthy? I mean, he's a guy that's a great addition to Terry McLaurin, who basically, they finally got him signed.
Yep.
And this team has potential. They, trusty Austin Eckler at running back, old Bones Eckler, with a nice rookie sitting behind him.
Some of us are getting up there in age. We can still move. Okay. Stretch my back.
But overall, this Washington team, they're primed, and they earned this 6-point spread, against the Giants, and it's going to come through. The Washington Commanders are going to get this done. Take the Washington Commanders -6 all day long. The Giants ain't got a chance. Double-digit win. Boom.
Let's keep it rolling. We have the Cincinnati Bengals are on the road at the Cleveland Browns and the plethora of quarterbacks. The Bengals in this one on the road are 5.5-point favorites, and we talked about this in our preseason podcast. Notorious for having issues in week 1. They need a good start.
They start slow for the last 3-4. Ever since Joe Burrow came aboard, they start slow for usually the first 3-4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Just ask the people in the Circa Survivor.
Yeah. Your mortal pick last year to win week 1 in the Circa Survivor.
I mean, most people, I would say a huge percent of the field, I don't remember what it was, maybe 50-60% were on the Bengals, and that didn't work out so good. So now here we are again this year. Has anyone learned from last year? I doubt it, But the reality is the Bengals are a great team. Chase Brown stepped up huge for them, and people are high on him big time. Fantasy players, fantasy teams, and just all around their offense. T. Higgins, he got his contract in the offseason, so he's happy. They got probably one of the best 1-2 punches at wide receiver, and arguably probably the best 4 players in Burrow, Higgins, Chase, and Brown in all of football. 4 best skill positions. That's all I can say. The Browns on the other side, they brought back Flacco. Flacco had a great year for the Browns. Everyone remember that he led them to the playoffs.
Yep.
And they should have probably kept him last year instead of letting him go. They brought him back. Flacco is immortal. What is he? Is he 52 now? Is he eligible for AARP? I think he might be. But
if you sack him too hard, it's considered elder abuse, and you go to jail now. At this
I'm
point.
sure many are hoping and anticipating Shedeur Sanders, but he is number 3 in the depth chart, and he's going to probably stay there based on his preseason play. But we'll see, right? Now on the other side, Cleveland doesn't have much. They have Myles Garrett that basically is going to drive that defense, but on the offensive side of the ball, Jerry Jeudy's about it.
Yeah.
They got 3 running backs that are all formidable. Who's going to emerge as the number 1? It's hard to say as the season goes. But this Bengals team is dynamic, and this is going to be my first take it to the bank pick of the week. The Cincinnati Bengals absolutely romp, stomp, and roll over the Cleveland Browns. So Circa Survivor people, if you're watching this, believe. Take the Cincinnati Bengals, feel good about it. They're going to get it done. They're not going to burn us this year. Take it to the bank all day long. Bengals going to roll. Boom.
All right, we got the next game. We got the local Las Vegas Raiders, local to us at least, against the New England Patriots. Patriots at home are a 2.5-point favorite. And actually, before you give us the pick for this one, they were talking about in the Review Journal, the local Las Vegas newspaper, 3 things it would take for the Raiders to make the playoffs. And I didn't read the article, but I almost guarantee the first 2 are hell freezing over and pigs flying. Maybe the third is Jesus returning. That might be what it takes for the Raiders to make it to the promised land, but the Patriots are improved too compared to previous years.
There's a lot of money, right, on the Raiders to win the Super Bowl this year. They're going off at around 100-1, and it's much like the Vegas Knights when they first came into the league.
Very
and
true.
Lots of money were bet on them, and Vegas would have took a bath. So, granted, let's be real, the Raiders winning the Super Bowl, far-fetched. So we'll just move on from that conversation. All right, so we got Mike Vrabel, first-year head coach, New England, coming back after his playing days there. He's the prodigal son, hopefully bringing greatness back like the Tom Brady days. They're a long way from that. Drake May definitely took a step forward by the end of the year last year, and he is looking good and had a lot of potential. Stephon Diggs comes as wide receiver 1. He's been a problemed wide receiver, a lot of drama in his personal life and his football career. But he's wide receiver 1 and should get the ball a lot, and he has a great quarterback throwing the ball as well. On the other side of the ball, you're looking at a Raiders team that you got Austin Genty, comes in as the highly touted number 1 running back in the NFL. People are high on him in fantasy. Number 1 rookie running back in the NFL. And honestly, a lot of people have him in probably easily the top 5 as far as running backs in the league. He hasn't played a game yet, so a long way to go. You got Amari Cooper coming back where, it all began for him. I don't know how much of an effect he's going to have, but Jacoby Myers, he definitely needs some help also. You got Brock Bowers, who obviously is Brock Bowers. He's pretty outstanding. He's going to get it done. This is a game that, a lot of people want to say the Patriots are going to probably win this game because they're at home and Drake May, and not a lot of hope out there for the Raiders. But I disagree. Just hold on a minute. We're going to take the Las Vegas Raiders plus 2.5. Road dogs. Doesn't matter. They're going to get it done. Las Vegas Raiders go 1-0. Boom.
I'm starting to feel the ground get colder, like hell's freezing over maybe on that one. All right, we still have a couple more morning games to go. We are going to go on to the Arizona Cardinals taking on the injury-plagued, now rebuilding New Orleans Saints. Some might say Kyler Murray is either going to finally have that season everybody has been thinking he could be capable of, or maybe this is where we see who he really is, and the Cardinals got to look to rebuild too, like the Saints are obviously going to have to do, unless they're holding out for 2 years for the next coming of a Manning to the Saints.
I doubt that's going to happen. Hey, according to Jerry Jones, he's going to get the, Arch Manning.
Yeah.
But with his bevy of draft picks that he got. But as far as the Cardinals go, here we go. Marvin Harrison Jr. He was a disappointment last year. He has a great pedigree, obviously, and I think that he's going to take a step up this year, and he's going to become the player that people expected him to be last year. Rookie woes, it happens, no big deal. James Conner, still the running back. I mean, he gets injured a lot, but he's been solid. They got Benson in the back, backing him up. This team has a lot of potential. Kyler Murray, I just don't think – I'm not a big believer in Kyler Murray. He's not – I feel like he's a selfish player. I feel like he lacks a lot of the heart and effort. That's kind of been my take on him. You can agree or disagree. But in this game, Desmond Ritter's quarterback. I mean, I could be quarterback in Arizona and beat Desmond Ridder. I mean, that guy is – the fact he's the starter tells you what the Saints season looks like. Alvin Kamara – he'd be better on another team, but this, Alvin Kamara is not what he used to be, but he's going to get fed the ball because they're going to have no choice but to feed the ball.
Else.
Chris Olave, obviously, is a talented receiver, but once again, it all comes down to the quarterback throwing the ball, and in this case, I think he's going to spend more time on his back than he's going to be upright completing passes. So that being said, it's got to be true because Arizona being a 6.5-point favorite against anybody is pretty tough, and to kick off the year, it seems like a lot of points, for Arizona, considering they haven't really played well enough to earn this sort of a spread. But that just goes to how bad Vegas thinks the Saints are going to be. So we're going to go with it. Arizona minus 6.5 to get it done. Boom.
All right, we're 9 games down, and we still got a ton more to go. The last of the morning games is going to feature the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road at the Atlanta Falcons. The Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites, and Falcons, Buccaneers, anybody going to make any noise? Will this be it for the Falcons season finally?
Big contract Kirk Cousins is on the bench. Michael Penix Jr. era has begun.
Yep.
People are excited in Atlanta. Bijan Robinson.
Well, Kirk Cousins isn't. He's probably the one guy who's the least excited.
Kirk Cousins, he was a former Viking, so I almost have to dislike him. But you know what? If you watch that show Quarterbacks on Netflix, it was pretty outstanding. Kirk Cousins had a rough – I think he's been on 2 years in a row, and it was a rough go. I mean –
They showed the video, right, or the filming of when they picked him versus – right? When they picked Penix
on Netflix. Oh, yeah. And on Netflix, it was followed the whole 2024 season.
Yeah.
So obviously, they don't know what's going to happen. But, I mean, it was a rough go for him. Basically, the national TV got to watch.
You don't think that's staged like Storage Wars and Shark Tank and all that?
No, not at all.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. But the thing is Bijan Robinson is outstanding, dynamic back. He's someone that is, easily probably the best running back in the league right now, potential-wise. I mean, it's just one of those things where you got to play the games.
Yeah.
But right now, it's from a fantasy standpoint, from a football standpoint, Drake London, people are super high in Drake London. So this offense is primed to go. The question is, will Michael Pitts finally do what Michael Pitts should have done from year one on? Because he's been a fantasy nightmare. He's been just a nightmare all in general. The guy is super talented. It looks like he has all the intangibles, but yet for some reason, he's not been that guy. Could this be the year he is that guy? I hope so. I have him in a few fantasy leagues, and I think he could be that guy. But as far as this game goes, you got the Buccaneers, you got Baker Mayfield, who had a great year last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a resurgence of a career.
If you think about a guy that was on the way out, and all of a sudden now he's someone that people tout as, a pretty solid quarterback all around. This team, they picked up Emeka Egbuka is their new wide receiver they drafted, and people are high on him, especially with Chris Godwin gone for the first probably 4 or 5 weeks to go side by side with Mike Evans. Bucky Irving has emerged as the RB1 ahead of White. And I'm telling you right now, this Tampa Bay offense has tons of potential. But here's not so fast, guys. The bottom line is this. Division battle in Atlanta. I am going to take the home dog every time in this situation. The Atlanta Falcons are going to fire away. Take Atlanta plus 2.5, and you're going to take it to the bank plus 2.5. Boom.
Let's hop over to the afternoon. We got our first 1:05 p.m. game of the season, and that is going to feature the Tennessee Titans at the Denver Broncos, and rookie sensation Bo Nix and the Broncos together are 7.5-point favorites at home.
The Broncos, Sean Payton's second year as head coach. Bo Nix took a step, looked great last year as a rookie. They're sitting pretty good. They got a great running back situation. They picked up R.J. Harvey in the draft. So
no relation to Steve Harvey, right?
That'd be a negative.
Steve Harvey amazing in the NFL. So I don't know. Steve
Harvey. So yeah, I could. The thing is J.K. Dobbins is going to get the start, and he's a solid guy that's had some injuries, but he's a good RB1 to start out the year. R.J. Harvey's most likely going to be in there. They're going to share time, and I think eventually Harvey's going to take over the backfield. Cortland Sutton, he took a step forward again last year. He's improving. He's got a quarterback throwing the ball. But this Denver team is well balanced. They have a great defense. They got a solid offense. Like I said, they're going to give, a run for their money in the division. And I really think that right now, in my mind, I think Denver could be the favorite to win the division. I know everyone thinks Kansas City, but I think Denver very well could be right there as 1A, 1B with Kansas City.
That's what we said. This division's different than it has been any other year that Mahomes has been in it.
Now, the Titans on the other side, they're high about, the quarterback Cam Ward. Lots of hype and potential around him. Calvin Ridley, I think Calvin Ridley's going to have a big step up this year. If you have him in fantasy, you're going to be probably really happy. But this team has a long way to go. Tony Pollard is a decent running back, but we're going to find out how durable he is as a full-time back, because with Tajay Spears injured and out for probably at least 4 or 5 weeks, will he hold up as a 3-down back? We will see. But this Titan team is young, and they definitely, going into Denver, is a tough ask for any team, let alone a Tennessee Titans team that really is probably going to have a rough, bumpy year. The Broncos, 7.5 points. It's a lot of points to start off the year, but that goes to tell you how much hype there is around the Broncos and how much potential they have to make a run. This Broncos team, 7.5, they're going to get it done. We're going to take the Broncos minus 7.5 over to Tennessee Titans. I think they're going to win by somewhere between 10 and 17 points. And simple as that. Broncos, boom.
Second of the 1:05 p.m. Sunday afternoon games, we got the San Francisco 49ers on the road at the Seattle Seahawks. 49ers, again, bumpy season last year, disappointment 100%. 2.5-point favorites on the road against Seattle. And newly received Minnesota Vikings quarterback, Sam Darnold.
Another big quarterback change. I mean, there's been a lot of mix-up in the quarterback world this year. Sam Darnold, he was having a rough career with the Jets and Panthers, and then he basically just – Kevin O'Connell's a quarterback whisperer, though. So basically I think that's what happened with Sam Darnold, and he proved kind of who he was towards the end of the year, definitely in the playoffs. Yeah. But we will find out. Now he's going to go to Seattle with another young head coach. He's got himself Smith and Jigba at wide receiver. Outside of that, no more Tyler Lockett. He's gone. And, he has some decent supporting cast, running back with Walker and stuff. But this Seattle team is going to have its problems, because I don't have a lot of faith in Sam Darnold right now. I guess he's going to have to prove to me that he's going to be the guy in this team, in this setup. I feel like last year he came into a plug-and-play situation with great receivers, great tight end, great running back, a good running back, and a great head coach as far as offensive mind. I think that this year is going to be different. He's not going to be playing in domes as much. He's going to be playing in the elements, and I think that he's going to have his problems, and we're going to see more like a Jets version of Sam Darnold as opposed to a Vikings version. All right, now on the 49ers side of it, Brandon Ayuk's going to be gone for a good 8 weeks plus due to his last year injury. They lost Deebo Samuel, and they're in a situation where they got Ricky Pearsall as their lead wide receiver, And really their wide receiver one is going to be George Kittle this year. But Christian McCaffrey's the X factor. Are we going to get Christian McCaffrey for a full year healthy? Yep. And is he going to be the Christian McCaffrey of a couple years ago? If that's the case, Brock Purdy signed this huge contract, and this team is well coached. But did they miss their window?
Yeah.
After the last couple of years where they made runs to the Super Bowl and then fell short. We're going to find out, but I think it's going to be a bumpy. The one thing saving the Niners is they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. So I think that by default, they're going to probably have a good opportunity to win a division. But I don't know if they are contender ready for a Super Bowl run. I think that's off the table as of right now in my mind. But for this game, the Niners going on the road favorites, tricky spot, division battle. Normally I'd want to go the other way in this one, but I'm going to go with the Niners minus 2.5 because the Sam Darnold effect is real, and I think that he's going to have his problems against this Niner defense and scheme, and the Niners get it done minus 2.5 on the road.
All right, guys, the one you've all been waiting for. Let's take it to it. The Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers, minus 2.5 points. If you know anything about this podcast, one of us, who's not me, is you might say, ginormous Green Bay Packers fan. Your hometown team, you love them. You probably do bleed green.
I got green coming out of my veins, but when I pick, though, it's completely unbiased. I'm going to put that disclaimer out there. Anyone that knows me, I pick where the green is, and that means the money.
Also, that means the Packers. Is that a subtle hint? You pick where the green is? Go ahead. Remember, it's only a 30-ish minute podcast.
All right, so Lions-Packers, what a game to start, though. What a game to jump off. And then you add the Micah Parsons trade into it. The thing is will Micah Parsons play this week? Right now, that's unknown as of the recording of this podcast on Monday. I believe in my heart and my mind that he will play, but we got to wait and see. This is a big game. I mean, you got yourself, Matthew Golden. The Packers not only drafted the first wide receiver since Javon Walker years and years ago in the first round, but now they do this huge Micah Parsons trade, which is basically like as big, if not bigger, than when they got Reggie White. Because Reggie White was a little bit older when they got him. Micah Parsons, prime of his life right now, and a top 10 football player probably in the league. So, that being said, what's going to happen? We're going to Lambeau Field. You're dealing with a Detroit team that is super talented. I love their coach in Dan Campbell. I love their running back situation with the 1-2 punch of Montgomery and Gibbs. Jared Goff, he took a step back. He kind of showed glimmers of why Sean McVay didn't believe he could win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. And he showed that in the playoffs last year and at different points. This offense is dynamic for Detroit. I mean, Williams, St. Brown, this team all around skilled. But here's the problem. They lost their offense coordinator to the head coach of the Chicago Bears to become the head coach of the Chicago Bears. They lost their defensive coordinator to become the head coach of the New York Jets. They lost other side coaches as well. So this is a team that's going to be a whole different dynamic. They got a lot of the same pieces and players, obviously Laporta and everyone else. Dan Campbell's still the head coach, so that's the key part. But what kind of difference are we going to see? And right now, that's the unknown factor. And Vegas agrees because here, Green Bay has become now as high as a 2.5 favorite.
Where did it start at? Because this is the one you said flipped, right?
Yeah, I believe it was at one point. Detroit maybe like 1.5 or 2 points. And it's flipped all the way to Green Bay minus 2.5, which they've earned it. I mean, this team with Micah Parsons especially now, but they lost Kenny Clark, and that's the key. Kenny Clark was a run stopper, going on a 10-year vet, and they got to figure out, will the two guys in the middle be able to stop the run? Because right now, that's kind of the unknown factor. Because Micah Parsons, the mark on him is he's not exactly a run stopper defensive end. He's fast, and he's a guy that gets after the quarterback, not known for his run stopping abilities. But this team at home, division rival, Green Bay Packers, you're going to go into the night very happy if you go with my pick, the Green Bay Packers, minus 2.5. They're going to get it done. Do not even worry about it. They're at home, under a field goal, no problem. Go Pack Go. Jordan Love is going to prove why he got the money he did. People are down on Jordan Love. They should not be. Yes, he's kind of got some injury issues. Yes, he kind of throws some ill-advised balls. But in the end, I think the guy's going to be strong as nails, and he's going to get it done for the Green Bay Packers this year. Have a monster year, I predict. Jordan Love, 7+ point victory against the Detroit Lions. Boom.
We are going to go to the last of the late afternoon games with the Houston Texans at the LA Rams. Rams are 2.5 point favorites at home, and I honestly almost said what I don't always say. I always say Tennessee. No, what do I say? Texans. Houston Texans.
Yeah,
Houston Texans. Hey, it's Houston's in Texas. So
it is.
It counts close.
That's fair enough. This game, it's one of those things. Matt Stafford. A lot of people are concerned about his durability. He's getting up there in age. He can't seem to stay healthy.
Yeah.
He's kind of old bone Stafford, even though he's not that terribly old.
It's scary to think what old is in the NFL versus my own age.
He's beat up, though. He's beat up. Stafford's beat up, and he keeps coming back year after year, and he's committed. On the other side, you got C.J. Stroud. The poor guy just can't seem to hold on to receivers. He's got Tank Dell again out for this year after his horrific injury last year.
Ouch.
No more Stephon Diggs. But he does have Nico Collins, which is an absolute beast. Nico Collins very well could be finished wide receiver 1 in all fantasy leagues. He's definitely a top 5 wide receiver, without a doubt. Joe Mixon was a great running back last year, but right now he's on this, non-football injury list, and it's hush-hush.
Do you think he's going to play for the team, or they're going to get traded?
I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what. It's the weirdest thing ever. I don't understand what. It's an ankle injury, I think. But it's like non-football injury list. They're not talking about. They're not even committing if he's going to play again the rest of the year. So I have no idea. So that's worrisome, right? So that being said, the running back situation is a little bit up in the air. They have a rookie that's in the backdrop. They got Dameon Pierce, and they got the wily veteran Nick Chubb. But Nick Chubb has lost a step since his injury, and it sounds like he doesn't have the gas he used to. So, I mean, the Texans have an okay defense, but this team, people aren't too high in them this year. I mean, it's one of those things where I think that they're going to have a little bit of regression even from last year for sure. But C.J. Stroud, if he steps up big and he can, Christian Kirk join the team at wide receiver, so hopefully he can be kind of a 1-2 threat. We'll see. He didn't do what he was supposed to in Jacksonville.
Right.
Maybe it could be a welcome change, but this team against a Rams team at home with, you got Kyren Williams and you got obviously Puka Nacua, the stud low and back, even though Devontae Adams came. Now they have Devontae Adams, out goes Cooper Kupp, in comes Devontae Adams. They traded, an older receiver for a similar aged receiver. Devontae Adams had a rough go last year as a Jet, just like everyone else in that team.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Will it be different this year? It might be, because with you have Puka on one side, although he had Garrett Wilson last year too, so he's definitely with a better franchise this year, a better run franchise, a better coach. So this team has a lot of potential, and in this game, without a doubt, the Rams get it done. Rams minus 2.5. Boom.
All right, that just takes us to Sunday Night Football. And that Sunday night game is giving us the Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. Bills a favorite by 1 point at home. This is a huge conference matchup. This is a huge matchup in general. Every year this has been a key matchup. Two teams expected, well, they have no less expectations in the Super Bowl, just like they've had for the past couple of years. And yet this is how we're going to start week one. One team has to start 0-1 and be behind the proverbial 8 ball, so to speak, in that situation. So 5:20 p.m. it starts.
The way it's been which one of these teams is going to fall runner-up to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's kind of how it's been over the last X amount of years. Both teams super talented. Both teams heavy favorites to go to the Super Bowl and potentially win the Super Bowl along with a couple other teams. Lamar Jackson has definitely come into his own. He's become a better passer all around. This team has just matured around him. I think that Zay Flowers and young guys like that are going to take a step up this year. They're just one of those things where the Bills are at home, and Josh Allen coming off an MVP year. He got married. The guy's on cloud 9. He is the team. I know that he's trying to possibly scale back his running to kind of keep his durability and stay healthy. he shouldn't have to do it all. And hopefully this year, guys like Keon Coleman will step up for him. Shakir, who's going to be the wide receiver one is the question. Is Dalton Kincaid going to step up? Dalton Kincaid kind of fell short and flat last year. People were pretty hyped about him. And, going into this year, definitely from a fantasy football standpoint, he's definitely not hyped up very much. He drops in most drafts and, goes to the late rounds. But this team, you got Cook, who finally signed his contract, and he's happy. I don't have a lot of faith in the Bills head coach. I think that if they don't get to the Super Bowl this year, he will be fired. I just don't think that, it's been a broken record for him. And I'm beginning to think that really maybe the coach might be the difference, So the Bills definitely are ready. I mean, this team has had don't get me wrong, they're not the Lions who had never gotten there. But to get there 4 in a row and to never win, I don't even know I can't imagine.
I still say that is probably one of the most least referenced. I mean, it's referenced, but I remember watching those 4 games.
Right.
To go just to get to the Super Bowl 2 years or 3 years in a row, but 4 years.
Yeah.
And then lose them all. Like, that feels like one of the worst bad streaks in sports history.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention, having to lose twice to the Cowboys and, once to the Giants on a Scott Norwood field goal. So, I mean, but in this game, this early in the year, the one good thing is for the Ravens is that they play the Bills better in the regular season, it appears, and the Bills kind of own the Ravens in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That's how it's been over the years. And then usually it's a battle, and a toss-up in the regular season. This year, the toss-up is going to go to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills at home is going to be the difference maker. Week 1, they're both teams are super hungry and pumped, but I give the edge to the Bills being at home in this game. Only a 1-point favorite. Bills get it done, no problem. They win by 3 to 7 points, without a doubt. Take the Buffalo Bills -1 to go 1-0. Lamar Jackson's going to start the year 0-1 and be on the 8 ball early, but lucky for them, their division's fairly easy right now. So Ravens will bounce back. Really only the Bengals to contend with in that division in my mind. So
one name you didn't mention in all of that, Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews,
he's fallen off, huh?
Yeah, he's fallen off. He fell off last year, and we'll see what he does this year. I mean, they have Likely also at tight end, and this team, like I said, they have a great coach. They got great coaching. They got solid players. This is a tough game. This is not a game that I would make as a take-it-to-the-bank pick. I do feel pretty strongly the Bills will win because they are at home, and I just think that they're going to be the better team on this night. But the Ravens are going to be there when it's all said and done as well.
All right, let's take it to Monday night, the last game of Week 1 in the NFL. Jason, just like we started off on Thursday with 2 of my favorite teams, we are going to be ending Week 1 with 2 of your favorite teams. The Minnesota Vikings on the road at the Chicago Bears, and the Vikings on the road are 1.5-point favorites.
Can they both forfeit?
The Bears still suck, but who sucks more?
All right, here we go. Vikings. In comes rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy. This is going to be interesting. Poor J.J. McCarthy. The guy got hurt last year. He's been built up ever since, and his first game starting has to be against a division opponent on national TV Monday Night Football.
On the road.
On the road. I mean, hello, stacking the deck.
That's not trial by fire. That's like trial by napalm. That's as bad as it gets.
But here we go again. We're in the same spot we were last year. The Bears have had top draft pick after top draft pick after top players coming in, and yet they, every year it's like last year, Bears are going to be right there fighting for the division, and we've had this same old record playing nonstop. It's exhausting. This year, we'll see. I mean, right now, on paper, they improved their offensive line. They got a solid running game. They got 2 good receivers in DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze coming in his second year, talented guy. The defense is solid. If there's a weak point, it probably would be the defense. Coach-wise, we'll find out. I mean, that's what people are high about. They're high about the coach coming in, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator last year, offensive-minded coach that basically he could be huge. But will he actually be able to do something with the Chicago Bears team? Because I think that just like the Dallas Cowboys, the Bears organization is kind of, they're old school, but they're rotten at the core. Their GM is not the guy, and I feel like they're just ran poorly as an organization. And they literally take great players that come in, and by the time they leave, they're scrubs. I mean, there's a reason why they haven't ever had a 4,000-yard, passing quarterback. But in this situation, week one, due to the fact that the Bears are at home, the Vikings are on the road, and they're missing their number 2 wide receiver, Jordan Allison, due to suspension, and J.J. McCarthy's first start, coming off of a pretty rough injury. Mm-hmm. All those factor, it just spells doom for the Vikings this one. The Chicago Bears, +1.5, home dogs, all day long. Cash in your cryptocurrency, take it to the bank, mortgage the house, whatever you got to do.
2 of the 3, please.
The Chicago Bears all day long are going to get it done. They are going to wally whip, okay? I'm going to say Bears 10-point victory or more against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are going to come out flat. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Can't believe I said that out of my mouth. Boom.
I heard a lot of things you just said that I'm like, I want to make sure you're going to be okay. Not going to be on hurt yourself watch later on.
How would you hurt yourself watch?
All right, so let me wrap it up. Before you go, let me wrap it up with this. Once again, please, if you give us a like and a subscribe, we greatly appreciate it. And that subscribe is important just because I'm going to put out there right now. Week 2, got a couple of pre-scheduled events going on that are going to kind of juggle the podcast next week. It's still going to happen. Because we don't know whether it's going to come out Sunday night, Monday morning, Tuesday next week, we want to make sure you see it as soon as possible since these lines move. Inevitably, they do move up and down. Sometimes getting them early is good. Sometimes you get some information that helps you make a better choice later on in the week when you finally place that bet. So please make sure, again, like and subscribe. Of course, we just appreciate you guys for doing it. And we appreciate those of you who returned for Season 3 and anybody new who's come along. Again, we hope you'll have some fun. We try and make it informal. This is our conversation. We watch football every Sunday together for the last 3 years, usually at Westgate. And again, reminder, for those of you who used to come and say hi to us at Westgate, we won't be there anymore on Sundays. We're keeping it in-house, still watching every single game, and still sweating fantasy football.
Looking forward to a great year. We're going to make you guys a lot of money. Stick with us. We're having a blast. We're going to have a great time. We're going to, for the 3rd year in a row now, we're going to make you lots of money like we have in the prior 2. Looking forward to it. I'm full of energy. The only thing left to do is for the kickoff to come on Thursday and to start playing the games and then go from there. Until then, though, guys, take it to the bank. Boom.